You just yawned, didn't you? Or maybe you felt the urge to. Funny thing is, you probably didn't even feel that tired before this video started. But here's the twist that might keep you awake. Nobody truly knows why we yawn. It's one of the most common, everyday human behaviors, yet it remains one of science's most stubborn little mysteries. For centuries, humans, and even animals, have been doing it. We yawn in classrooms, in boardrooms, even soldiers on the battlefield have been caught yawning. But for all our scientific progress, we still can't fully agree on the one single reason why. So let's dive into the fascinating and sometimes bizarre history of the humble yawn. Way back in ancient times, the act of yawning was shrouded in superstition and mystery. It wasn't just seen as a sign of being sleepy. It was a moment of spiritual vulnerability. Many ancient cultures, including the Greeks, believed that a yawn was literally the soul attempting to escape from the body. Imagine that. A simple yawn could be your spirit making a run for it. This is why covering your mouth when you yawn became such a widespread custom. It wasn't just about being polite. It was a desperate attempt to trap your soul inside. But it wasn't just about keeping things in. It was also about keeping things out. People believed an open, unguarded mouth was an open invitation for evil spirits or demons to fly right in and take up residence. So that hand over your mouth was like a spiritual shield. As civilizations progressed, so did the theories. The great philosopher and physician Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, had a more, medical take on it. He proposed that yawning was the body's natural mechanism for getting rid of my bad air and bringing in fresh good air. Think of it like airing out a stuffy room. He believed that fevers in particular caused bad air to accumulate, and yawning was the body's way of expelling that heat and toxicity. This idea was incredibly influential and persisted for nearly 2,000 years. It just made sense to people. You feel sluggish, you yawn, you feel a little better. It must be about the air quality inside your lungs, right? This theory laid the groundwork for centuries of scientific thought, all pointing to one simple thing: oxygen. Then came the age of modern science, and researchers were determined to prove Hippocrates right with data and experiments. The more oxygen theory became the leading scientific explanation for decades. It was simple, elegant, and intuitive. When our blood is low on oxygen and high in carbon dioxide, our brain triggers a yawn to take in a big gulp of fresh air, rebalancing the levels and making us more alert. It was taught in textbooks and repeated as common knowledge. But science is all about testing theories, and when researchers finally put this one to the test, the results were surprising. In one famous study, scientists had people breathe air with higher than normal levels of carbon dioxide. If the theory was correct, they should have started yawning like crazy. But they didn't. In another experiment, they had subjects breathe pure oxygen. According to the theory, this should have stopped yawning altogether. But again, it didn't. People yawned just as much, whether the room was full of carbon dioxide or pure oxygen. The data was clear. The simple idea that yawning is all about topping up our oxygen supply was officially debunked. Science was back to square one. After the oxygen theory collapsed, the field was wide open. Then, in 2007, a professor named Andrew Gallup proposed a radical new idea that changed everything. He suggested that yawning has nothing to do with our lungs and everything to do with our brain's temperature. His theory is that yawning acts as our brain's personal cooling system. Think of your brain like a supercomputer. When it works hard, it gets hot, and if it overheats, its performance drops. According to this theory, a yawn is like a biological radiator fan kicking in. When we yawn, three things happen simultaneously. First, we take a deep inhalation of cooler, ambient air. Second, the powerful stretching of our jaw muscles dramatically increases blood flow to the head and neck. This combination of cool air and increased circulation helps dissipate heat and lower the brain's temperature. It's like hitting a reset button for an overheated processor. This theory also explains something the oxygen theory never could: why we yawn more in certain temperatures. Studies have found that people yawn most when the room is warm but not hot. the perfect temperature where a cool breath of air would be most effective. If the outside air is as hot or hotter than your body, yawning won't help you cool down, and guess what? People yawn less in those conditions. This brain-cooling hypothesis is now one of the leading theories in yawn science. But here's where the mystery takes another strange and fascinating turn. Why is yawning contagious? You know what I'm talking about. You see someone yawn, and suddenly you can't resist one yourself. You can read the word yawn, or even just think about yawning, and trigger the reflex. I bet some of you have already yawned a few times just watching this. This phenomenon isn't just a quirky human trait. Scientists believe this contagious effect is deeply linked to empathy and social bonding. It's a form of unconscious mimicry, a way our brains mirror the state of those around us. And it's not just humans. Studies have shown that chimpanzees, baboons, and even dogs can catch yawns, but they're most likely to do it from individuals they have a strong social bond with. Your dog is more likely to yawn after you do than after a stranger. So, when you yawn back at a friend, it might be your brain's ancient subconscious way of saying, "I see you, I feel you, we're in sync." It's a sign of a highly evolved social brain at work, connecting us without a single word. So if yawning cools the brain and signals empathy, when does it actually happen? We associate it most with being tired or bored. We yawn before bed, and we yawn when we first wake up. We yawn during a long, uninteresting lecture. But here's the paradox. Yawning also spikes in moments of high stress and anticipation. Elite athletes are often seen yawning right before a big competition. Paratroopers yawn before they jump out of a plane. Students yawn before a major exam. This seems counterintuitive, right? If you're about to perform, why would your body signal that it's sleepy? This is where the brain cooling theory comes back into play. In these high-stakes situations, your brain is firing on all cylinders, and it's heating up. A yawn might be the body's last-minute attempt to cool down that overworked processor, sharpening focus and preparing the brain for peak performance. So, a yawn might not be a sign of switching off, but rather a sign that your brain is preparing to switch on. It's like rebooting your computer right before you need to run a demanding program. It is less about "I'm sleepy" and more about "I need to be alert right now." So, after all this, what is the final answer? The truth is, there might not be just one. The yawn is a complex, ancient behavior that likely serves multiple purposes. It could be a physiological tool to regulate brain temperature and maintain alertness. At the same time, it could be a powerful, non-verbal social signal that helps us bond with our tribe. It is a perfect example of how something so simple and mundane can hide layers of biological and psychological complexity. The next time you feel a yawn coming on, don't just see it as a sign of boredom or tiredness. Think of it as your brain's sophisticated cooling system kicking in, or a subconscious signal of empathy connecting you to the people around you. It's a tiny window into the intricate workings of our own bodies and minds. And who knows, maybe by the end of this video, you've cooled your brain down just enough to feel a little more focused. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the mystery of the yawn, don't forget to like and subscribe for more curious explorations. See you next time.